This is a Hope 1032 podcast.
They had no children of their own at this point. They'd been married for a year, and two little boys arrived suddenly, carrying a little suitcase with everything he owned in the world. 9-month-old brother who was unable to sit up, unable to smile, unable to laugh, unable to make a noise, actually, because he had been left alone in a cot for his life. So he had no response at all when he arrived.
Welcome to She Wasn't Born Yesterday, the pod that fearlessly chats about all things affecting us ladies who are 40 plus fabulous.
Well, and the guys that want to know what we think.
Well, them too. I'm Janet Evans, advertising creative.
And I'm Jenny Woodhouse, semi-retired social worker.
In other words, you're busier than ever. We're J&J and we're super thrilled you're with us for She Wasn't Born Yesterday. Gorgeous. There are around 60,000 foster kids in Australia at the moment. That is children living with a foster parent or family who give them a temporary, safe and nurturing home because they can't live with their birth families for various reasons. So a guest today has a daughter, well, she's got a couple actually, who, along with her husband, not our guest, but the daughter's husband, decided, it's very complicated, decided to foster some kids. So, Gorgeous, you are, in every sense, a grand foster parent. Gorgeous Robyn Powell, welcome to She Wasn't Born Yesterday.
Thank you for having me. I hope it's going to be fun.
Well,
we'll see about that.
Sure it will be.
But Gorgeous, tell us a bit more about you. How many kids do you have? Tell us a little bit about these foster grandkids that you've got.
Oh, gosh, how long you got? I have 4 grown-up kids, all married, all with kids of their own.
Awesome.
I currently have 10 grandchildren and am expecting another 2 to hop along in March at the same time.
Out of the same person?
Oh, the same
right?
person?
Yes.
Well, a couple of minutes apart, we hope.
Yes.
So lots of grandkids. Almost got the cricket team full of boys, which is excellent.
Oh.
And of those 12 grandkids, 2 of them are foster grandkids. My 2 eldest grandkids are 2 foster grandkids. They are now 12 and 10. And
so they were the first grandchildren you had?
They were the first grandchildren I had.
How about that?
And so why did your daughter decide, and her husband obviously, decide to foster? Why did they decide to do that?
Well, they both had an interest in it and discovered it very, very quickly, not long after they met, that they both had an interest in fostering children. They were working together in disability services. They were both very interested in disability services. And somehow the topic of fostering children came up, and I think even before they were engaged, or certainly soon after, they said, yep, let's foster some kids. Now, we, the rest of the family, of course, got on board with this by saying, are you mad? What is wrong with you? You're not even married yet and you're talking about this. And then they got married and they said, we've signed up for a foster care course. And we said, wow. You are completely mad. And they said, don't worry. We're going to be mid-term temporary foster carers.
Of course we are.
So there are 3 levels of foster care. There is urgency foster care, which is when children are removed from their birth families and they just need to go somewhere to be cared for. That usually lasts up to about 6 weeks. Then there are mid-term foster carers. They're used while the powers that be try to work out a way to get the kids back to their family. Always the first port of call is to get the kids back to their birth family. If there comes a point where that is not possible, and there are many, many reasons why that's not possible, then people can become long-term foster carers, sometimes with a view to adopting. And that's what my daughter and son-in-law are now doing. They are in the process of adopting their foster children, their foster sons, whom they have had now for 9 years.
Wow.
And are those 2 foster sons, are they brothers to each other?
They are brothers. They are brothers to each other. They have 2 other full sisters, and they have a half-sister and a half-brother. Now, all the children were removed at various stages from the family home. Their 2 full sisters are fostered by a family member, but that family member was unable to take 4 kids at once, and no other family member could be seen. Usually they will look for family members first to care for kids, and if that's impossible, they will look for foster carers. So
And how old were the little chaps when they were first
they
fostered
were
by
just
your
under
daughter?
1 and just under 3.
Oh, wow.
So they really don't remember anything about their life before.
So did your daughter and son-in-law just get a phone call one night saying,
We got a phone call one day and said, we have 2 children. We have a 9-month-old baby and a 2 years and 9-month-old toddler. Can you take them for a few weeks? Now, tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Oh, wow.
And my daughter said yes. So they had been expecting a call. So they had tooled up with a cot and a bed and toys. You know, that was all they had. They didn't know what else. They had no children of their own at this point. They'd been married for a year. And 2 little boys arrived
Suddenly.
carrying a little suitcase with everything he owned in the world. And his little 9-month-old brother who was unable to sit up, unable to smile, unable to laugh, unable to make a noise, actually, because he had been left alone in a cot for his life. So he had no response at all when he arrived.
Wow. And so gorgeous, were you involved right from the beginning? Like, did you talk about how much involvement you wanted to have in their lives?
I have a daughter who calls me, on a bad day, twice a day. On a good day, 5 times a day. So we're pretty sure the involvement would be fairly there.
Intense.
So, yeah, I just said, well, if you're taking these children, they're our grandchildren, and that's that. And whether it's for 6 months or 6 years or the next 60 years, that's how it will be. And that's how it was.
And how did you look on investing in them as grandchildren, thinking they might just be here for 6 months?
Yes, that changed very quickly. Within a couple of months, it was obvious that everyone had fallen in love with these little boys, who both have special needs, I might add. They both have a chromosome deletion, and as a result, they have intellectual disabilities. They have some physical, not severe, but, they're a bit clumsy and they're a bit, a bit scattered in their thinking. But within a couple of months, my daughter and son-in-law were saying, well, they're not going anywhere. So that's that. So they then put their hand up and said, we will stay as their foster carers. But it took some time. It actually did go to court, and the court actually dictated that the children should not go back to their birth family.
So what's the criteria for the court to not allow kids to go back?
If the parents cannot care for the children, they can't go back.
So who assesses that? How does that actually work?
DCJs, social workers. My daughter used an agency, a specialised foster care agency, to get these children. So there are paediatricians, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, the full thing. And their caseworker at their agency put together a case that said the children really can't go back to their birth parents, and the court agreed. So that's written in stone. So at that point, my daughter and son-in-law said, right, well, they're here with us forever. And they then started investigating. They thought there was no possibility of adoption. Both the parents are alive and well and involved in the boys' lives. The court also mandated that they should visit their birth parents 6 times a year and their sisters 12 times a year. Because they have discovered that adopted children do much better if they know about their family of origin. But very soon someone said to them, well, you can adopt them. And they said, well, we didn't realise that. And they said, well, you can. It will be an open adoption. They will continue to have contact with their family, but they will become your children. So that's going on as we speak. And
they're in the midst of that process right now. So this is
Wow,
9 years down the track.
9 years down the track.
Why has it taken so long?
It just does.
Gotcha. Good answer.
And so all this time, is it up to your daughter and son-in-law to take those kids to see their parents once a month and to see their sisters?
Yes.
And do they stay there with them while they're seeing them?
No, it's a it's a short visit. It's a 2 or 3 or more hours duration. So there's always a birthday visit. There's always a Christmas visit. They also do FaceTime calls for Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthdays, things like that. So my daughter and her husband live in the country. The children are from the western suburbs of Sydney, so it's quite a hike to and fro. But it is the best thing for the kids. It's the best thing for all of them. They've actually now developed a very close relationship with the sisters. And my daughter and son-in-law have developed a close relationship with them as well. And they come to visit quite regularly and stay. And that has been a lovely thing to see.
So your daughter and son-in-law didn't just foster 2 little boys for 6 months. They've taken on an entire family forever. Is this what we're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And how are the little fellows' parents responding?
Look, it's hard, isn't it? It's horrible to take children away from parents. Of course it is. Of course that's terrible. And of course that's terrible for parents. Their father is a little more understanding of why he can't care for them. The parents are no longer together. The mum can't really understand. The mum also has the same intellectual disability that the boys have. She can't understand, really, why this has happened. To say they're happy about the adoption would not be true.
Right.
I think they both see that it is the best thing for the children, but it's an unhappy situation. It's an unhappy situation, but God willing, that the best thing for these 2 little boys is that they be adopted into their current family.
Okay.
And I was just going to say, like, what's it been like being a foster gran? When you first met them and as they've grown up, are you like the fun gran,
Oh, no.
The graninator? Do they love you?
Gran, but I'm a good cook, so they do point that out to me quite frequently. I love it. I'm a cook. So,
fantastic.
Lovely.
I love them. I love them. I'm so proud of them. I'm going to get a bit teary. They've been seeing the same paediatrician in Sydney since they were first flagged by DCJ when they were babies, and since their chromosome deletion was diagnosed. So he's been seeing them since they were babes in arms. Every time my daughter takes the boys to see them, which is meant to be once a year, although in COVID that's slowed down, obviously, he shakes his head and says, I can't believe how well these boys are doing.
Oh, how wonderful.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
They're doing well at school. The older boy is at a special school, but he is probably the most able of all the children at the special school. He is thriving there, absolutely thriving.
Wonderful.
The younger boy has some behavioural issues that can be quite difficult to handle, but it's being managed. The paediatrician is being helpful. He has some medication to take, which is helping him, and they're just consistent with him. So these little boys at 10 and 12 are quite capable of cooking their own breakfast. They get up and they cook themselves eggs. They live on acreage, so they have animals to care for. They care for the animals. They take the garbage out. They load the dishwasher. They fold the washing. My daughter and son-in-law, my son-in-law in particular, who is a very, very capable man, is very keen that they learn to do things well because their back is up against the wall. So they need to learn these life skills to help them through life. Yeah. And they do just beautifully well. They are so well loved at school. The younger one, who can be quite difficult, got an award at school the other day for constantly bringing a cheerful attitude to school.
Oh, bless his little socks. That's gorgeous.
I love the awards you get at like primary schools for trying really hard or not biting anyone today.
The older boy, his teacher last year said he is the only child in my class who, when I say, "How are you?" he replies, "I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?"
Oh,
really?
And he waits for an answer. They're trying to teach them these interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
Looking at people, speaking to people, they really have done remarkably well.
Oh, you look like a very proud grandmother.
And, folding laundry and everything, like if they're not available one day, like, if they'd like to come and experience a bit of an Eastern Suburbs vibe, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They can come over and,
Just saying. Yeah.
But gorgeous, what do you like to do? What do you actually do with them when you're foster granning?
Well, you girls know me. I don't do much.
Sure.
Oh, look, we talk. We talk.
Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah, we talk. We do games online, so we love a bit of Wordle. We love a crossword or two. We love some finder words, but we talk.
It's interesting.
They are capable of talking, able to talk, able to carry on a conversation. I'm not your outdoorsy kind of person. That's what Daddy does with them. I teach them to cook. I will think of an interesting thing like, oh, have you ever seen Tutankhamun's tomb? And they'll say no, so I'll get pictures of it and show it to them.
Yeah.
They've got wide interests in all sorts of things. You know, it's the same as I do with all my grandkids.
Yes. Yeah.
Special
with them, I don't do anything less special with them. We do the same things.
And so with fostering in general, is there a lot of red tape to get through if you want to become foster parents?
Yes and no. Basically, anybody can be a foster parent.
Anybody.
I presume there is an age limit. I'm not sure what it is. The other thing, I don't want to go into details because different states are different. Oh, okay. And I'm sure you have an international audience as well. And I'm sure that absolutely.
Queensland.
Different in other countries. You have to apply. You have to be police checked, obviously. And then you have to do a training course. And training courses are ongoing. They continue on throughout the fostering experience. You know, child protection kind of stuff, first aid kind of stuff. If your child has an Indigenous background, there's a lot more training that goes into that with understanding children with Indigenous backgrounds. So it's not for the faint-hearted. It is a full-time job, but there are people to help. So the way you've got your caseworker, you've got doctors, you've got people on hand.
And what about the cost of it? Like, what is the cost? Where does the money come from?
Do you actually get paid to do it, or?
You do get paid to do it. You are paid in order that these children can have a normal life.
Yes, okay.
So many foster children are coming from families who are financially in problems. So many foster children arrive hungry, with very few clothes, with very few toys. Not all, everything's different. So I'm just talking from my experience. They were told before they got the boys that foster children often walked into a house, figured out where the food was, whether it was in a fridge or a pantry, and started stuffing their pockets. And we all like, yeah, right, ha. Guess what? That's exactly what the 2.5-year-old did.
Yeah, really?
He discovered a pantry that had, I don't know, little packets of chips or packets of crackers or something, and his eyes lit up and he started putting them in.
Wow.
So that deprivation.
So the money that comes is given to them so that they have everything else that a well-brought-up kid can have. So that they have enough clothes, so that they have treats, so that they go to football and they go to the movies, they go to the school excursions, they have the swimming lessons, they go and do taekwondo if they want to. That's what the money is for. And that's what the money has been spent on here for these boys to have those things. They also have an NDIS package because they do have mild disabilities. So things like speech therapy, physiotherapy, etc., are paid for. And because if it wasn't, then certainly my daughter and son-in-law couldn't afford to have it.
Right. And has your daughter ever talked to you about, I mean, it's not just financial rewards, you're never going to do it for that, but about the rewards of having the kids and any of the challenges that she's had along the way?
I know all about them. All of them.
We could be here for a while listening.
Yeah.
Do tell.
As the years have gone on, when she was pregnant with her first biological child, she said, I'm really sad about one thing. And I said, what's that? And she said, he'll never be an only child. He's my eldest child, but he's not my eldest child. True. So this is one of the interesting things is all the birth orders have been messed up. So the eldest biological child in this family is actually the third child.
Yeah.
The eldest foster child is actually the third child, but he's had to become the eldest. The one whose birthright was being the eldest has now been pushed into the middle. So it's all been a very interesting kind of thing.
Wow.
So after he was born, I said, you know, how are you feeling now? Do you continue to be sad? And she said, no. She said, it's just normal.
Yes, okay.
It must be tricky, though, if you're bringing foster kids into an established family of kids who already sort of have, their parents' exclusive attention and all of that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So did they specifically set out to foster first and then?
They did.
Yeah,
and interestingly, it's actually recommended that you don't do that. It's actually recommended to do it the other way, to have your own children first, then foster. And yet, having seen how well this works, so my daughter went on to have 3 children who are now 7, 5 and 3. They have never known anything other than having these other 2 big brothers. And I don't think they actually know that they're not related to them.
Right.
Because it doesn't come up. Why would it?
Right. Yeah, right.
Even though they also go to visit the other mum, the other dad, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
They've never sat down and asked, what's this all about? Now, they might. They're still very young. But, the answers are all there. My daughter and son-in-law regularly sit down with the big boys, and as this adoption process has been going on, they've been regularly sitting down with them and explaining what's happening, saying, do you want to be adopted? Yes, they want to be adopted. Do you understand what this means? Well, no, they don't, but they will. They will.
So at the moment, they've got their own surname, but if they get adopted, they will get your daughter and son-in-law's surname. Is that
what
right?
they've decided to do is they will hyphenate it, because the older boy is very attached to his name. The younger boy doesn't care. The younger boy, I'm pretty sure, doesn't understand who anybody is. He's just all his family and he's happy.
Yes.
The older boy, even though he was so young, seems to have some primal memory, and he is very attached to his name.
Right.
But as it's been pointed out, he is part of 2 families, and it would be great if he had the name of both families.
Both
They'll be
families.
fascinated.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
okay.
really cool.
How about that?
So, Gorgeous, what happens if it doesn't work out with a foster child?
Yeah. You send them back. Yeah. And this is where you hear terrible tales of kids bouncing around. Quite often, foster kids do have behavioural problems, quite naturally, and they can be very, very hard to deal with. And some people are just not prepared for it. So back they go to wherever until another family is found.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
It must be devastating for everyone, though, because, I mean, if you're foster parents, then you would obviously have the best hopes in the world and feeling like you're doing something that's really worthwhile and valuable, obviously.
I think that's right, but I actually think it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
Thing. My daughter and son-in-law both are very cavalier and say, it's nothing. Anybody can be a foster parent. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. What do you think? What sort of attributes do you think you need?
I think you've got to have a really big heart. Really big heart. My daughter and son-in-law are Christian people, and they both said that they felt that it was part of their Christian duty to do this. Now, not every Christian couple will feel that. I never felt that was the case. But they said, well, these kids might never have any other Christians in their lives, even if we're only their foster parents for a short time. That's something. So, but I think you've got to have a big heart. You've got to be forgiving. You've got to really be accepting of people whose lives and lifestyles and backstory might fill you with horror or amazement or any one of a number of words. And you've just got to love them. You've just got to love the kids for who they are. They are very different, these little boys, to the 3 birth kids who all, the 3 birth kids all look a bit like each other. The 2 brothers look a bit like each other. So they're very different. When they go out with all 5 children, people often... one of the
blended family.
Red hair.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Throwback.
That's right. But, the 3 biological kids are very bright. They're doing extremely well at school and preschool. So there will be an intellectual difference as they continue on. So you've got to look past that. You've got to praise the praiseworthy and not worry about anything else. And you've got to hold the same standard for all the kids. You can't favourite your birth children above the foster children, but likewise, you can't favourite the foster children above your birth children. They've got to be treated the same. And that's something my daughter and son-in-law do incredibly well. I find that I'm constantly amazed by that.
Wow. Okay.
Surprised at their maturity.
They should bottle that and sell it. What sort of difference to your life did it make when these two little fellows arrived in the family?
Well, it was not the way I was expecting to get grandchildren.
How do you get grandchildren normally?
You know, having now gone through all the other pregnancies and how exciting, and collecting baby clothes and buying toys and picking up books when you see books that, you know, they'd like. Suddenly we've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and so I've got to go out and buy a whole heap of 3-year-old clothes and
Yes.
it was hard to have, you know, kids, not little babies, arrive.
Right, yes.
But it was not hard to love them. It was not hard to cuddle them and kiss them and make treats for them and do special things for them at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
What's their favourite treat? What do they like
Oh,
best?
anything I cook, Janet, anything.
Cool.
I made baked beans last night, and they thought it was the greatest thing they'd ever had in their lives, all of them.
Right.
Good.
I
Who
didn't know there
does
was
that?
such a thing.
I didn't know there was either. I thought
Thanks.
they grew in cans.
They did.
out of the ground. You know.
Okay.
So they love that. They love going to the movies. They love getting outside and, you know, running around, kicking a ball around, riding their bikes around.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
So will there be a point when they become adults, 18, where they can choose, they might decide potentially that they no longer want to be with the foster family, but they want to be with their birth family? Is that a possibility?
Not once they're adopted.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
not once they're adopted.
Even
They have
when
that
they...
choice now. The older one has that choice now because
Okay.
she's 12.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's the age where they can choose.
I'm pretty sure
Where they
in
wanna be.
this situation, that's the age where they can choose. I could be wrong about this. You might get letters. But around
so.
12, they actually can make a choice. These little boys don't know they've got a choice, and there is no choice because aside from anything else, the court has said they can't go
Of
back.
course. Of
If
course.
they were not adopted, when they were 18, they could say, well, I hate you, Mum and Dad, I'm never seeing you again, and walk out, and that would be that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
They will be adopted within the next year or so.
But even if you're adopted, if you turn 18, you can...
Anybody
surely-
can.
You can make that decision, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back, when they first arrived into your daughter and son-in-law's house, how long did it take them really to kind of settle down and feel a bit more secure, do you think?
A long time. It took a long time because they had been neglected. They had some difficulty bonding. So they came into the family in July, the middle of winter. The following January, the older boy got very sick with the flu, very, very sick. And his temperature spiked and he had a convulsion, and they raced him off to hospital and kept him in hospital for a couple of days because he was so young, because he was in out-of-home care. And my daughter sat with him for the whole time. She stayed in the hospital with him. And when she came home, she said, that's changed everything. She said, he now trusts me. So it didn't take that long, but the trust grew over the first couple of years, I would say. Yeah. And certainly with older children. So once a child reaches 5, they have much more difficulty attaching to someone as a parent figure. So it was wonderful that they got both kids under the age of 5. But it was interesting that even so, it took her determination to sit with him through that whole illness, that even at that young age he recognised was the reason he could trust her.
Yeah.
So did they put their hands up to have siblings? And if so, could they have taken
No, they
all
put
4
their
of
hands
them?
to foster. And you get what you get and you don't get upset, basically, in this.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to ask that actually. Do you get a choice?
Yeah.
Like, do you get like a
Yes, you can say no.
spreadsheet of...
Yeah, you can say no. You can say
Okay.
foster kids often come in multiples because it's
So
often,
triplets, quadruplets, things like that.
2 or 3 brothers and sisters often
Right.
here together. You can say, no, I can't take 4 kids, I can take 2. But again, that necessitates breaking the family. And
Yeah.
it's interesting, the older of our boys very much misses his sisters, very much, very attached to the sisters. So this connection with the sisters has been a wonderful thing. But no, you can back out at any time. You can stop at any time. You're doing a favour to the government and whatever. But having said that, it's a good thing not to. It's a good thing to carry through.
Yes.
And there are seasons, there are difficult times and there are happy times, but it's the same with your own kids. It's exactly the same.
Absolutely.
True. But be aware that it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint-hearted. But having said that, one of the reasons I was keen to come and speak to you today was really to encourage people to think about the possibility of fostering, even if it's crisis fostering. So my daughter made good friends with the crisis carer who looked after the boys for the first 6 weeks after they were taken from their birth family. She connected with her and they've stayed very good friends. And this lady specialises in crisis care. So you can do that. That can actually be. And you know what? I reckon if I was doing it, I think that's what I'd do, because I think I could actually move my brain enough to say, I'll care for these kids for 6 weeks and then I'll pray for them for the rest of their lives. And happily do that. The uncertainty, I think I would find quite difficult. But having said that, I don't want to put people off the idea of fostering. Turn people onto the idea of fostering. In my experience and the little bit of other fostering that I know about, the siblings, so that the birth kids here, for instance, I suspect may well grow up wanting to be foster carers.
Yes, okay.
I used to do some writing for the Anglican Diocese of Armidale, and I wrote a wonderful story about a family in one of the small, in which one it was fostered kids, and they, there was constant revolving door of kids coming in and out. They had their own 3 or 4 kids, and one of their kids, a 9-year-old boy, was very, very concerned about the foster kids. And it was coming up to his 9-year-old birthday, and his parents said, "What would you like for your birthday?" And he said, "Can I have some money, please?" And they said, "Sure, what do you want to spend it on?" And he said, "I want to buy some backpacks for foster kids who haven't got anything," because he had seen kids arrive in his home with nothing.
Wow.
So they said, "Sure, we'll give you some money." And then this story got out into the community and it got out to the Rotary Club. The upshot is the Rotary Club, I think they're still doing it in this little country town up near Armidale, is now providing hundreds of backpacks a year for foster kids. Things that have soap and a toothbrush and some undies and a toy and a nice book. Just something that a foster kid can say, "This is mine."
That's brilliant.
Wonderful. What a fantastic kid.
Ended up getting a Premier's Award and... what a great way to grow up. What a fantastic way to grow up with a heart full of compassion like that.
Oh, yes, indeed. Do some foster children head off to one particular family, stay there for a little while, go back to a birth family, and then need to be fostered again later and go back to the original family?
So. Yes, I
yes,
think so.
okay.
I mean, the reasons for a child being taken are so many and varied, but I guess some of the most common ones are drug and alcohol problems, abuse, certainly, neglect, possibly financial difficulties that, mean that you just can't take care of a child. There are so many different reasons. So a lot of kids, I think, do bounce back and forth in the system, yes.
Right. Yeah. Oh, gosh, your heart goes out.
Absolutely. But there'd also be hard, the authorities can't pick up all of these instances, can they?
No. Well, it was interesting that your number was 60,000 in Australia. When I wrote this article a couple of years ago, it was 20,000 kids in New South Wales who need 6 weeks of foster care. We know a lady who used to foster babies from the hospital whose mothers were suffering drug dependency problems. And she would take the babies for 6 weeks.
Right.
Wow.
Care for them.
That'd be a hectic gig.
Often see them through a withdrawal period, yes.
Oh, gorgeous.
So, Gorgeous, how would you describe, what sort of difference has it made in your life as a foster gran?
Well, it's made me a lot more tired.
Okay.
Children soon to be 12 will do that.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Look, when you're given so much, which I feel I am going to get teary now, which I feel I have been given, it's not much to give back, is it? To love 2 dear, lovable little boys whom everybody loves because they're just wonderful kids. They're just great boys. I worry about them. I worry about what they will do when they grow up, what sort of jobs they can do, whether they'll be able to live independently, things like that. But my daughter and son-in-law are years ahead of us on that, and they've thought this through already. They've got some thoughts, plans in mind to start up a business for them and to keep them living here on the property, but not in the house, in a separate dwelling, so that they can be close but not in. So it's made our life better. It's made our life better because it's 2 more grandkids to love. And
That's gorgeous. Now
not everybody has the great blessing of grandchildren. And we have the blessing of grandchildren, and 2 of them
Foster grands.
Extras. They're extras.
Yes. Extra joy.
And Sue, your great hope for their future would be?
My great hope for their future would be that they will be able to live independently, that they will grow up kind, compassionate, God-fearing members of society who contribute to society, who I think they already have an understanding of how much they've been given. I think they actually do have an understanding of that, who want to do the best they can, whether, if that's washing dishes in a restaurant, to the best of their ability, let them do it. But it may well be that they might be able to go on to further education and become landscape gardeners or plumbers or something that's, fantastically useful in society. I want them to be happy in that, to know that they have been given much and that they can give much.
That's awesome.
That is beautiful.
Wow. Well,
That
gorgeous.
is beautiful.
I only really discovered about the idea of fostering not actually that long ago. I didn't even realise it was a thing.
Where have you been?
Well, I know. I don't know. But, I didn't realise that you as a punter could just foster some kids. I thought it was some special, special qualifications that you needed and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So if people listening to this are thinking, you know what, I think I've got the steel in me. I've got what it takes to do this. And now Robyn's presented, the good, the bad and the ugly. Sides of it. How do they go about it?
Okay. I won't mention specifics because it is so different in different areas. I would just Google foster caring near me. Right. And names will come up. I'm sure you can ring the Department of Community and Justice and they can put you in touch. So you can foster through that department, but there are also many agencies that provide foster care. So you can go through one of the agencies. But if you Google foster care near me, several names will come up. Make 2 or 3 phone calls, see what fits you, how it all fits in with your life, and go for it.
Yeah. Can you foster a child if you're single?
Yes. I have a friend who in Armidale, a single lady in her early 40s, she's been fostering for some years now.
What about single guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Would that be more difficult given the current concerns around child?
Well, everybody does the training in the child safety. I honestly can't comment to that. Everybody does the training. And, you're supposed to do the right thing. I would think as a single person, I would think it would be very difficult. It really takes a village with these 2 kids, but then they are part of a family of 5 kids. So it does take a village. But no, of course you can. Yeah. It has to do with loving the kids, with giving them the experiences of childhood that they will miss out on in their birth families.
Yeah, and if you're an empty nester and you're a grandparent, now you can do it yourself.
Yeah, I would have thought so. There may well be an upper age limit. I'm not sure about that. But yes, I would have thought that you could.
Wow.
Possibilities.
Okay, let's go put our names down.
Gorgeous. This has been absolutely fascinating and we have absolutely loved chatting with you about being a foster gran and everything that it involves, which is incredible.
Thank you so much. And they just sound a joy and a delight to everyone in your family.
And they're so lucky to have you.
Well, I don't know about that. When Grandma gets cranky, maybe not. My little birth granddaughter the other day, after I had dressed her down for something that she had done wrong, whispered to her brother a bit later, she's not grumpy anymore. So
coast is clear. Go for the baked beans. We'll be fine.
That's right.
We love them.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robyn. Wonderful. Thanks. Janet, we love hearing from people, don't we?
Even more than I love you.
So to leave us a message, go to hope1032.com.au, She Wasn't Born Yesterday podcast, and hit us up on the little get in touch box at the bottom of the page.
Doing that right now.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Hope 1032. Thanks for listening.